Hello, and welcome to episode number 80 of the Discovering Courage podcast. My name is Patricia Brooks, and this is a Courage Concept episode. Courage Concept number 6 to be exact. And that is comparison counters courage. You were made unique for a reason. Today, I found myself comparing myself to somebody else and feeling a little bit bad about myself and what I do and what my mission is. I was doing research for a potential podcast guest who also speaks of courage. However, she is helping women of color in the workplace navigate the workplace. And I compared myself and what I'm doing to what she's doing. And I almost talked myself out of reaching out to her to see if she would be a guest on the podcast, because I thought to myself, oh, she probably wouldn't be interested because what I'm doing, even though it's around courage and confidence, she probably wouldn't think that I was doing a whole lot with it. And I found myself feeling a little bit bad about myself. And then I caught myself and said, Patricia, no. She's got her mission and she's helping a certain group of people. And I've got my mission and I'm helping a certain group of people. And we overlap in the area of courage. And that made me feel a little bit better about myself. But I thought, Patricia, why are you comparing yourself to somebody else? I had this same exact feeling last week when I interviewed a podcast guest, Carol Adams of the Carol Adams Foundation. And her story is incredible. And Carol Adams Foundation helps victims of domestic violence navigate that and feel empowered. And in a lot of ways, she is saving people's lives. And I thought, oh, well, she's on my podcast and she is so inspirational and she is changing lives. She is saving lives. What the heck am I doing? And I kind of felt a little bit small. But again, we both have different missions and our missions are overlapping as she's on my podcast and I'm helping get the word out about her organization and about domestic violence. And she's helping me out, by being a guest and sharing her courageous story. And so once again, I had found myself comparing myself to somebody else. And the fact of the matter is that there is no comparison between people. Even if we are doing the same thing or similar things, there is no comparison because we are different people. We are in different places on our lives. We have had different experiences. The amount of experience that we have and bring to the table as we are going through our journeys is different from other people's. And so if we compare our starting point to somebody's who has been in a business for 10 years, we are bound to be disappointed and discouraged. And one of the analogies is it's like apples and oranges. Which fruit is better, an apple or an orange? Well, it's hard to say which is better because they are different. They both have benefits and qualities that are good and some that you might not like. So to say, well, which one is better is really hard to do. And so that's one of the things that I like to, bring it back down to when I start comparing myself is it's apples and oranges, Patricia. There is no comparison, and move on from there. What I like to do is actually to compare myself to myself, from myself today to myself yesterday. Did I learn something yesterday? Did I grow yesterday? Am I making changes in my life that will support my values? And if the answer is no, that's perfectly fine, because that can create a wake-up call for me to make some changes in my life so that I can start moving in that direction. But I'm comparing myself to myself and what I have done and that is a more even measure of things. So this concept number 5, which is comparison counters courage, know you are unique for a reason, is a powerful one. And it goes to the catalyst for courage. It could go to several of them, and I kind of struggled with which one it should fit into. But for me, I think that this concept goes most closely to shifting your perspective, because once you realize that it's not an even comparison when you compare yourself to somebody else and somebody else's accomplishments, that shifts your perspective and helps you to see yourself for you. And it does help to improve your self-confidence and self-esteem. But the core concept is around shifting that perspective. It's apples and oranges. There is no comparison. So I want to leave you with a few questions I'd like for you to take to heart and write down, because this can be helpful for you. When have you compared yourself to someone and it brought you down? It brought your mood down, made you feel bad about yourself. Write down that situation. Question number 2, what factors about the other person or the other person's experience or background did you not bring into account when you started to compare yourself to somebody else? It could be experience. It could be the money they were given or had access to. It could be a whole host of other things that made the playing field a little bit different, and it creates an uneven gauge or measurement to compare yourself with. And then finally, question number 3 is not really a question. It's just what you can do to help you to move out of that comparison trap that we can sometimes find ourselves in. And that is, next time you compare yourself to someone and you start to feel a little bit bad about yourself, stop yourself, catch yourself, and then stop yourself and say to yourself, it's apples and oranges. There is no comparison. There you have it. That is courage concept number 6. Comparison counters courage. Know you are unique for a reason. I will see you again next Monday. Bye for now.